His wisdom is about open-mindedness. It's very important because people have preconceived notions. Everyone does. If you listen to my wisdom about bubbles and boxes that everyone's trapped inside of, you see, you're given some preconceived notions from the moment you're born. You're taught from within your bubble. You're taught from your parents, you're taught from your teachers, you're taught from your clergy. You know, you learn all these things and you don't question them. You start learning, this is how it is, right? And then a new idea comes along and you're like, no, that's wrong. I know because I know the right idea. And you know how I know the right idea? Because I was taught it by my parents. And my parents were more wonderful people. They could do wrong. Obviously, they would never tell me anything that wasn't true. And therefore, my idea is right, their idea is wrong. Really, are you thinking it through? I don't have to think it through. I don't have to think it through at all. Because I already know. What's the point? My parents told me that the sky is purple. The sky's purple. I learned when I was a kid that the sky's purple. Dude, the sky's blue. Really? No, the sky's purple. I learned that it was purple. I've been told throughout all my life that it was purple. The sky is purple. You know, if you look up, you'll see. I don't have to look up. I don't have to look up at all. Because I already know. Why would I look up? I already know. The sky's purple. You're wrong, dude. Look, if you look up, you'll see the sky's blue. I'm not even going to think about your crazy idea. Because everyone in my world has told me my whole life, the sky is purple. And guess what? That means the sky is fucking purple. And you're crazy for thinking it's blue. Dude, look up. Okay, you see, that's a kind of extreme example. But that's how it is. People don't accept other ideas because they're already close to them. Right? They don't accept outside ideas, they're already close to them. They grew up in a bubble, they have all these ideas, they leave the bubble, they go into another bubble, someone says, you're crazy, dude. I know how it is. I learned in my bubble, it's like this. I don't even have to question you, I don't have to think about it. I'm not going to listen to your argument. I'm right, because I was told this. It's ingrained in my thoughts. So that's the first problem here, right? You know, I personally try to deconstruct everything. Someone says, you know what, dude, this is how it is. And I look at it and I'm like, well, why is it like that? How did it become like that? What's the path that it took to get that way? Why do you think that way? Where did it come from? How many people think, you know what I mean? I look at all the aspects. I deconstruct, I pull it apart. And I look, oh, look, we're way back at the beginning here. We guys first started thinking down this path. There was an error. You guys made a mistake. Now, if you correct that error, it goes down a different path. You come to a different conclusion. Interesting. But you won't even think about it because you've been told it's like this. You won't even go back to here and figure out, why did it get that way? Who thought that? Where did it come from? Why does everyone follow that? You know, I mean, you don't even think, people don't even think for themselves. They don't. They just listen to what other people say and they just take it for granted and move forward. People are very narrow-minded. They just kind of look through their little, oh, well, this is what I've been told. I'm not going to look over here. I'm not going to look over here. Because someone might prove me wrong. Right? You got to take these off. Start looking at the sides. Start expanding your consciousness. Expand your awareness. Don't keep your mind so tight. Don't keep it so closed. A lot of people have it completely closed. I'm not even going to think. I'm just going to take whatever other people tell me. I read this on the internet. It must be true. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to do any more research. I'm not going to look at anything. When I was in my early 20s, I studied religion. I spent some time to read about different religions. I went and visited different places of worship. I tried to understand how this religion got here and how this religion got here and what caused it and, you know, whatever. What the stories were, what the rituals were, why the rituals were in place. It was very interesting. The conclusion I came to was there are a lot of religions in this world. By the way, according to Alexa, there are 4,200 religions. 4,200. It's a lot. And everyone's closed-minded about theirs. They won't think of anything else. If you expand your consciousness a little bit, you realize that every single one of those religions teaches the same thing. And a lot of the ritual are for a certain reason. I'm going to take Judaism because that's the one I know the most, right? I mean, I know all these religions to the extent that I study them. They all follow suit. They're all very similar in their purpose. But if you look at the Jewish religion, I'm just going to take Shabbat, the Sabbath. You know, Christianity, you go to church, Maybe you go out to eat after church. You take a day off. Not bad. You do whatever you want that day. You watch some football. You relax. You work on your like one of your projects or whatever. Yeah, nice day off. Everyone needs a day off to recharge, right? But in Judaism, the Shabbat, the Sabbath, is much more than that. It's sundown to sundown instead of just like, midnight to midnight. Because way back in the day, they didn't have midnight to midnight. Now, they do sundown to sundown. And the way it works is, it starts out with a little service at the temple. Everyone's at the temple. You can't do a lot of things, like you can't drive, you can't use electricity, you can't light a fire, you can't rip, you can't cook, paper, you can't carry anything, you can't use wheels. There's not much you can do, right? So all this stuff. So they go to the temple, and then afterwards, they all walk home together as a community. Everyone's walking home, so you're seeing other people that you know walking home with you, talking while you're walking home, right? Then there's a big dinner. You go to your house for dinner. You probably invited someone over. You probably invited another family over, or you've been invited to their house. So you're heading to someone else's house, or you're having company over. You have a nice big dinner. Then after dinner, maybe do some shots, hang out, you play some games. That's bringing your community together. That tightens your community, right? And then Friday night, you're supposed to have sex with your wife. Brings your marriage together, right? And your families together, because there's really not much you can do. You can't go apart. You're just hanging out. You just went to temple together. You walked home. There's community. You're together with your family and your community. Sometimes people go from house to house after their dinner, visiting, maybe doing shots at different houses and stuff like that, having a good time. All right, next day, Saturday, wake up, walk to temple. You see your community all walking to temple with you. You get to temple, everyone's in temple. Temple is a social event. It's not like church. Everyone sits there quiet and listens to... No, in temple, everyone's shaking each other's hands. How you doing? Good to see you. There's honors, congratulations on just getting called up to hold the Torah. Everyone's talking to each other. They're going out for a little break, and they're chatting in the foyer. It is a social construct, and it brings your community together. Now, after temple, you all walk home again with your community. You're all walking home. You're going to someone's house for lunch, or they're coming to your house. Again, friends, community, family, all together. After lunch, now you got an afternoon kill. So you're hanging at home, playing games with your family. You can't use any electronics, so it's not video games. You're playing cards, playing board games. You're sitting there talking. Maybe you take a little nap, but your whole family's together. And you're doing stuff together. It's built in. And then, at the end of the afternoon, I'll walk back to temple. There's a little service, or maybe you're doing the service at home. Some of your friends stopping by. You close the Shabbat, and now you go back to your week. So that's 24 hours right there. That is nothing but family and community. That's it. That whole 24 hours, you are smushed together with your family and your community, and you're essentially almost forced to do things with your family and community. So I don't know why I'm going off on the side. I think it's a great construct. I understand it. I don't really follow it because I'm not a big religion fan. But I understand why it's there, and it's there to create family and community. But other people might say, well, it's there because the Torah says it's there. The Torah says we should do it. My rabbi says we should do it. My parents say we should do it. I don't really know why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it because other people's told me to. Right? Now, you might be in another religion, and it's completely different. Another religion is completely different. The fact is that if you rip it apart, if you look at it the way I just did, and realize why all these things are there, why are they being done, then you realize that there is value in it. Otherwise you might be like someone who's not very religious, like me. It's like, I got a lot of stuff on my computer. I got work to do. I can't take time off to not work, or really, I can't be on my phone. I can't check my Facebook. What if something's going on in the world? I can't. No. A lot of people are going to be closed-minded and say, what's the value of this? There's no value. It's just something we're told to do. And I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. But if you really rip it apart and look at the reasoning by it, why it's there, you start saying, oh, wow, that's why the Jewish religion, the Jewish community, the Jewish nation, as they call it now, is a great religion, not just because of the religious aspects. The religious aspects, I'm not so into that, but the community aspect, the culture aspect of it is amazing, because the Jewish people are a tighter group of people than probably any other group on the planet. And that's because of the community that is enforced in its ritual. The family that is enforced in its ritual, that everyone learns and doesn't even know why. Their minds are so closed, they just do it. But if they ripped it apart and looked at it, they'd know why they were doing it. And people who leave it, people who walk, pull away from it, if they had an open mind and they looked at it, if they deconstruct it and start thinking about it, they might say, oh, I don't want to walk away from that because I want to be tight in my community. I want to be close to my family. That's my point is, you got to keep your mind open no matter what you're doing. Because sometimes you're doing something for a reason that you don't even know why you're doing it, but it's a great reason. But you think it's a shitty reason, so you throw it away. Like I did as a youth. I said, I'm not doing this shit. I got too much to do. I can't go 24 hours without my computer. Are you kidding me? So nowadays I do not follow those rituals. I just kind of grew up in my way. I just find, following those rituals to me, it's kind of painful. But they're very valuable rituals. If I look at them, I say, wow, I wish I didn't throw them away to the point where it's very hard for me to get back into them. So now my open mind says, those are great rituals. And that's my point. You got to keep an open mind. Some things you do that you think are a good reason aren't a good reason at all. Others you do that you don't think is a good reason are a real great reason. And you can't let other people tell you what to do. People are going to tell you what to do. Don't just take it for granted. Don't just say, okay, they told me what to do, I'm going to do it. I like them. They seem smart. I'm just going to do what they say. Think for yourself. Rip it apart, look at the reasoning, make the decision, and then you make the call. Keep your mind open. My good friend Ron Searle, PCS International, I give him a little plug here. I just worked for him for a little bit. Ron used to say, you've got to keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out. So don't accept ridiculous ideas, but definitely think for yourself. Keep your mind open enough that you can think for yourself. Don't just accept everything. Don't just accept nothing. Think for yourself is the point. Open-mindedness. Keep your mind open. Listen to other ideas. Learn why they're there. And then make your own decisions. It's a very important lesson for this world. Keep your mind open. There's some great things out there. There's some shitty things out there. People just do without thinking. You can't do that. You gotta think. Think through every fucking rule, every fucking task, everything you ever do, everything you learn. Think it through and make sure it is the right decision for you. You might come to a different conclusion. You might come to the same. But you can't just take it for granted. You can't just keep your mind closed and just do what people tell you. Open your mind and make some good decisions here in this world. The world would be a better place. Thank you, guys.